Now we'll continue section 2.2. We looked at graphs of equations in two variables. Now we want to focus on intercepts. In example 3, we're given a graph and we're to find the intercepts of this graph. So recall, intercepts are where you either touch or cross an axis. So the x-intercepts are where you either touch or cross the x-axis. So let's look at the x-axis here, and we can see at this point right here at -3, 0, we touch. That's what we mean by touch. We don't cross, but we touch. Let's see if there's another. As we go along the x-axis, here's another one. We are crossing at 3/2, 0, and we are crossing at 4.5, 0. For the y-intercepts, now let's just look at the y-axis. We are crossing at 0, -3.5. The order we write these does not matter. We are crossing at 0, -4/3, and we are crossing at 0, 3. Now what do you notice about all of the x-intercepts? The y-coordinate is 0, correct. And all the all the y-intercepts, the x-coordinate is 0. So we know that if we have an x-intercept, we know the y-coordinate must be 0. So if we have an equation for a graph, here we have a graph, but if we had the equation for this graph, we could find the x-intercepts by just going ahead and saying, well, y is 0. I know that. I know y is 0. Plug that in, and then solve for x. And to find the y-intercepts, we know x has to be 0, so we'll just go ahead and put in 0 for x, and then only variable left will be y, and we'll solve for the y. So this is our procedure for finding intercepts, not from a visual, but from an equation. Okay, and finally, now let's see how we would do that and then graph our result. So the equation is 2x minus 3y equals 6. Okay, an equation in two variables. This is going to be a line because our highest power is 1. Okay, so this said to find the x-intercepts, to find x-intercepts, we're going to let y be 0. Okay, so 2x minus 3 times 0 equals 6. 2x minus 0 equals 6. 2x equals 6. Divide both sides by 2. X is 3. What did we find? We found the point 3, 0, because we already knew the y was 0, right? To find y-intercepts, let x equal 0. So 2 times 0 minus 3y equals 6. 0 minus 3y equals 6. Negative 3y equals 6. Can we see this? Divide both sides by -3, and y equals -2. The point we found here is x was 0, y was -2. And now we're to graph by plotting those 2 points. The x-intercept, where we are on the x across the x-axis, is at 3, 0. The y-intercept, x is 0, but y is -2. Now we just have those 2 points, but that's what we were told to do, was to graph using the intercepts. So that's what we have done. If you're asked to do this in the MyMathLab program, you have to plot those 2 points. You can't plot any other way because the directions were by using the intercepts to graph.